Hello, Playa Beach. I am Victor Mirch.
Tell us what you got.
I've directed, I've written, I've acted. I haven't produced yet.
I don't believe you have, no.
Or I mean, technically, I produced, directed
You didn't produce
someone else's, yeah. Only my own writing. I did sound for Lost Vape.
I don't think you've DP'd them, no.
I have not DP'd. I want to DP.
Can you list all your alter egos
All right.
and tell us your favorite one?
Currently, there's Mr. Broccoli. There is this one right now, Victor Mirch. Going way back to senior year of high school, there is MG Merc with a K. There's also Muscle Merch, my former fitness influence account. My favorite has to be Mr. Broccoli because I love vegetables so much.
What are the benefits of broccoli?
Broccoli, there's a lot. I feel like it helps with like cardiovascular health, helps reduce inflammation. I don't know, I saw it was like on a long list of like vegetables that help with just reducing stress, cortisol, maybe. I'm just riffing right now, so that may not be
But
true.
he's just lying.
I'm lying. I have a personal trainer certificate, but I don't know about
Broccoli
nutrition.
propaganda.
Yeah, but it's good. Broccoli's good. Cooked, it's good. Raw, it's good. Dip it in ranch. Put some butter on it. Put some salt. Put it on a necklace. Yeah.
Firstly, your background is in acting. So, what is your favorite type of character to play, and how does that reflect in your style of writing? Do you like to restrict yourself to a certain type of character, or do you enjoy being a jack of all trades?
I'd say my favorite character has to be the oddball. I myself, I enjoy making people laugh. In my writing, I like to write myself as different shades of myself. I'm still figuring myself out as a person. You know, I recently, or not recently, it's been 2 years ago since my divorce.
Alright, so you arguably have had the most adult life out of any of the founders in Playa Beach.
Uh-huh.
How would you say this influenced your hit and the #1 viewed Playa Beach project, Bobby?
All right, so Bobby is actually a metaphor for my loss of innocence. In Bobby, the protagonist Rick, the opening scene, Rick is talking to his friend Donnie. Donnie is the father of Bobby, and Donnie says to Rick, "Take care of my boy." That moment is symbolic of me trying to take care of myself as an adult because my parents were not hands off, but they were never really involved in making sure I figured things out, knew what was going on. But yeah, that was, you know, I entrusted myself with making sure that I survived. And after that scene, we see an older Rick reminiscing on that exchange. And we see Bobby himself step in the door. You know, he's a teenager, he's brooding, he's rough around the edges. And Rick tries to reach out to this young Bobby saying, "Hey, I care about you. People have done things to ensure your survival." And Bobby he doesn't get it. You know, he doesn't understand, he doesn't care. And in the heat of his anger, he just leaves. And we see Rick left with the remnants of a broken family. After we see Bobby's departure and the passing of Olivia, we then go into the 2 years into the future, where we see an aged Rick. You know, clearly stress has taken a toll on him, and he's carrying the weight of the family on his shoulders. Rick is trying to hold on to his past, to his own childhood, but it's just not enough. If I had to explain Bobby in one sentence, it would be, you can't hold on to everything. Yeah. Sorry, that got a little deep.
Instead of going to therapy, men start a production company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's give him a fun one. All right. 4 Ricks.
Four
One
Ricks.
battle royale.
Yeah.
You put all 4 Ricks in the ring. Who comes out on top? How and why?
Bagman Rick. You know, because he's a therapist, he's got cash, you know, he's making moves, he's living the life, and he manages to outwit not one, not two, but three goons who are after his money. Right? So I'd say, you know, Bagman Rick, you know, takes home the crown.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Bagman Rick was also able to outrun.
Yeah, he was.
Ryan Serrano at the very least.
Yeah, he's a track star.
Let's see. So Bobby was your most successful
Mm-hmm.
and your latest um, writing and directing endeavor, but your first, Balls in Your Court.
Yes, balls in your court.
How do you feel that you've progressed? What have you learned since then? And what would you say has stayed the same?
Everything is better, from the way I write dialogue to the way that I envision shots in my head to editing to directing, getting more of what I want to actually show up on camera, inserts, following the rules of cinema. You know, the 180 rule was kind of broken in Balls in Your Court, and I feel like we did a much better job in Bobby. What has stayed the same? I kind of put my traumas into everything, you know, because growing up with my dad, he had me play tennis from the ages of, I think, age 6 up until sophomore year of high school. And to be honest, I really had a love-hate relationship with the sport. You know, I was on the court for, you know, up to 4 hours a day at the peak of my training with my father. And eventually I moved on to things that I felt were more in line with who I am as a person, like acting and music. I always try to sprinkle a little bit of my personal experience, a little bit of comedy, and just the absurd, the bizarre into my plot, just to give the audience a little jolt, like, whoa, you know, I've never seen that one before.
So you directed 3 films.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, do you think you have a style or a certain trademark that you'll carry into future productions?
I feel like I try and blend the boundary between drama and comedy. So definitely in the future, I'll continue to hone that down, perfect it, make it something enjoyable for audiences. But since I've only done 3, I'd say it's still too early to really lock in on what my focus is as a director, or what comes out naturally.
How do you think your experience making short form workout videos has translated to film? Is there any relation? Has it been any help, or is it just totally irrelevant?
Putting out short form content on Instagram and YouTube definitely gave me an interesting perspective on the algorithm, even though it's a very mechanical, very impersonal thing. The algorithm, it's still very much human psychology, human behavior. I post something on my phone, someone on their phone on the other side of the world is going to be looking at that, and depending on how well I do in my video, this person will either watch the whole thing, watch a couple seconds, or just completely ignore it, swipe to the next video. And so I did fitness influencing for, I think, about a year, actually. And I started off rough, as most people do. I was trying to figure out my style, my flow, my aesthetic. And then I took a couple breaks between the start and the end. And I'd say as I got close to the end of my journey was really when I started to pick things up. I figured out how to use quick cuts, which cinematically don't work, but in terms of short form and social media content, quick cuts are the way to go, keeping the audience's attention locked in on whatever you have. You know, bright colors, clear subject, clear audio. Music also plays a huge part in that. Short form and cinema, they share similarities, and of course there are some concepts that can carry over. There is definitely a learning curve for both. You know, you can't just be a TikTok star and then, you know, the next day direct a blockbuster. So there's skill sets for both that you just have to progress through.
So, balls in your court,
Yeah.
bigger picture, even Bobby
Mm-hmm.
both deal with kind of split identities. How do you think that pertains to who you are as a person and your own personal identity?
Firstly, let's address the fact that I do not professionally go by my birth name, which is Mircea Bombesti. Like Miguel, I'm also named after my father. Growing up, it was really weird because I'm Romanian, Japanese, Greek, German, so I don't really look like your typical, you know, second gen, third gen kid, especially in Irvine. You know, there's a lot of people of Asian descent, Persian descent, and I just look like me, you know, so I never really felt I fit in physically. When roll call happened, I always knew when I would get called because the teacher would look down, hesitate, go, Mercea, Macrea. I had a Merceau one time, Marcel. So the balls in your court deals with the struggle that comes with following your passion and pursuing success. Bigger picture has to deal with overcoming emotional challenges, and you know, Bobby is about the challenges that come with existing and growing older.
So, you mentioned before that you have kind of taught yourself everything, that you have been used to being kind of this individual. You have this individual mastery of skills, but how has Playa Beach changed that? You work with 3 or 4 other founders, and you have to collaborate, work as a team, have this sense of communication and
Mm-hmm.
community. How would you say that has impacted you and influenced your art and how you feel about yourself when producing something?
I've become a lot more sensitive, a lot more serious as a creative. I've been making short films, you could say, or back when I was still in high school, middle school, I was making, you know, little videos for school assignments. And those were pretty much, I do them myself. I get like 1 or 2 people to help me, but I pretty much called all the shots. I did all the writing. I had the final say on what it looked like. But now we're all in this together. Our future, our success is dependent on each one of us. So I can't just go in my own direction just because I feel like it. I have to be logical. I have to be considerate of everyone's stake in this. Whether you're a business, whether you're just a group doing something for fun, whether you're family, friends, doesn't matter. If there are multiple people, if you aren't the only one involved, it's not about you. It's about us. It's about all of this.
I think you slipped like
Right?
3 separate musical lyrics into that one answer.
Uh-huh.
Can we get a Genius lyric reading of a snippet of an unreleased song?
Unreleased song. Okay.
You know those Genius interviews where they just read it?
Yeah, all right. Let me pull up. Uh-huh. All right. We can't live in the past. I told you. I gave you all the facts. I can't hold you. Can't say I've got your back. I'm not supposed to. Muddy puddles in the grass. I feel cold too. But if I'm being honest, I do miss it too. All the times we had in Birdland, Birdland. Won't you take me back to Birdland? What I wouldn't do, Birdland. It was me and you, Birdland, playing all those tunes. Hey guys, I'm Victor Mirch. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe to Playa Beach.